Hey guys, this is Shreyas and welcome back to a new video. So as I mentioned in my channel update 2021, a lot of PC videos are gonna come your way. So to begin with, I am today going to review my personal monitor, which is the AORUS CV27F. So the links to the monitor will be mentioned down in the description. Also after the video, you can probably refer to a few more monitors which I will link down below with their specialty, probably suiting your use case. So I will mention that in the description clearly, so that could help you choose out. Anyway guys, before we move on, why don't you drop a like, hit subscribe so that you don't miss out any more PC content that is coming up. Also hit subscribe since I'm reviewing this OnePlus Man and the review is coming soon. So to begin with, let's keep the specs out of the way. This is a 27-inch 1080p monitor with 165Hz of refresh rate, 1 millisecond of response time, has a 1500 R curve, is a VA panel with AMD FreeSync 2 enabled, which makes it G-Sync compatible as well, and has HDR 400 VESA certification. Now that's quite a mouthful of specification and pretty good in my opinion, but how does it pan out? Let's go ahead and have a look. First, I would like to cover the build quality and the design of this particular monitor. Now, as you can see in the front of the monitor, the three bezels are pretty minimal and makes it a very immersive experience. The bottom bezel is quite thick comparatively and has the AORUS logo, a tiny LED indicator, a noise cancelling microphone which I will come to later on in the video, and a power button which doubles as the joystick for the OSD control. Honestly, the front of the monitor is pretty clean and nothing sticks out and screams gamer to me, so I feel that you could probably use it in a professional environment as well without any problem. Now coming to the back of the monitor, it does have RGB in the form of eagle wings, which is a signature of the AORUS branding. It is quite customizable and decently bright. You could get some ambient lighting on the wall if your room is dimly lit or is completely dark, if it is close enough to the wall. So that's something you could use it for. Stand is completely metallic, especially the base. It looks like a boomerang and could definitely work as a self-defense weapon because it's really hefty. The installation is quite simple. You just clip it in and screw it into place. There is a D-ring which makes it a completely toolless installation. You can just twist the screw and tighten up the stand to the base. Now the stand actually clips in behind the monitor very easily and the removal is very simple as well. So I feel the installation process is very seamless and easy and was well thought out. This is VESA 100x100 certified, so you could VESA mount it as well if you prefer having more desk space. Now at the back of the stand you have a small cavity which could help in cable management with all the wires coming out from behind the monitor, which is a small plus in my opinion. Now the stand is height adjustable up to 130mm, which is a great thing and can almost go flush to the table if you like it that way. It also swivels around 20 degrees to the left or the right and tilts a bit on the front and back as well. This does not turn into a portrait mode, which is kind of obvious given that this is a curved monitor, so I think that's completely fine. So overall the stand actually has a lot of flexibility and the movements are pretty smooth and nothing jarring. The stand itself is quite stable and you do not see any wobble on the monitor given that you keep it on a stable surface. Now let's come to the I/O of this particular monitor. Now this monitor has a single power input only, and the good part about it is that all the power delivery actually happens inside the monitor, so you do not have any external brick or adapter for it. That's a great plus in my opinion. The next thing is it comes with two HDMI 2.0 ports which can carry the 165Hz refresh rate at 1080p with 1 millisecond of response time if you do the firmware update on this particular monitor via the OSD Sidekick app, which I will visit to in the later part of the video. It also comes with a single DisplayPort 1.2 output, which I feel is the preferred output if you have to connect this monitor to your case. Also, given that you have three effective display outputs over here, you can daisy chain another two monitors and have a triple monitor setup effectively if you wanted to. Now this also has a USB type B port, which seems very odd, but knowing that it actually powers up two USB 3.0 ports as a USB hub behind the monitor is a great addition in my opinion. So it is a great hub for plugging in your peripherals especially, which I feel is a great alternative to plugging it in behind your case. because it's one that your peripherals are relatively closer to your monitor, so it makes more sense. It also comes with separate headphone and microphone jacks behind your monitor. Now I would like to quickly cover the features of this monitor, which I feel are really great over here. So the first feature that really made my life easy and is very small in my opinion is the USB hub. Two USB 3.0 ports behind the monitor really makes it easy for plugging in a lot. You do not have to use your case IO. Everybody knows how finicky it is to toggle around with the settings in the OSD of your monitor using that tiny joystick which comes behind it. First of all, it is tough to reach sometimes, and also it takes a hell lot of patience. Now this is completely solved by the OSD Sidekick application, because you can use your mouse to change all the settings of your monitor, which I found really helpful. This also acts as a hub for updating the firmware of your monitor, which also comes in use. Now this OSD Sidekick application also has things like on-screen crosshairs. It also has options for displaying the refresh rate, system stats, and game counter, etc. But I feel the interface looks so ugly and is very intrusive and takes up a hell lot of screen real estate, so I do not end up using it at all. I use other software to monitor the FPS if required. Now another main feature of this is AMD FreeSync 2, which I feel is really helpful for people having NVIDIA GPUs. So if your NVIDIA GPU is updated with the drivers, you won't have any problems running variable refresh rate from both the HDMI port and the display port. And I have faced zero problems in G-Sync, and the NVIDIA drivers app also detects this as a G-Sync display, so that's a great bonus to have. Now one feature that I feel is really a gimmick over here is the ANC. As you can see in the bottom bezel of the monitor, just near the AORS logo, there is a mic. Now this mic is apparently used for active noise cancellation. This only works when you plug in your mic behind the monitor. According to other reviews, this isn't that great as well. We know that mic quality can actually be improved by the environment and the quality of mic you use. So I feel this is a complete gimmick. You should not use it, and I would have preferred the price to be lowered by slashing out this particular feature. Now let's come to the display. This is a 27-inch 1080p display that actually makes it an effective pixel density of 82 pixel per inch only, which is actually really low. But if you consider the effective distance you watch this monitor in, I feel it's completely okay. I usually sit around 3 feet away from my monitor. I can see corner to corner of this monitor and I cannot make out any pixels on the monitor. At this particular size, a 1440p resolution is definitely worth it. So to achieve the 165Hz refresh rate, most GPUs will have to run at 1080p until the time people get their hands on the 3000 series NVIDIA GPUs, which seems like a long time. Now coming to that, gaming is really great, because I feel the refresh rate of 165Hz is really elevates the gaming experience on this monitor. It helps out in low level games, like I mostly play FIFA, and even in esports title it can give you an edge. And also here the 1 millisecond response time really plays out. This being a VA panel, I feel the response time is very good and the representation is great. It does have significant overshoot and motion blurring. By the way, if you want to know more about response rate and what overshoot is, drop a comment down below and I'll probably do an explainer on the same. Now coming to the perks of the VA panel, this is a high contrast display. This has a contrast ratio of 3000:1, which is amazing. If your setup is in a dimly lit environment or in a bright environment, you should have no problems. Watching contact is really great, and especially while watching movies, the black bars are not really significant. Now coming to the viewing angles, the viewing angles are actually pretty good for a VA panel. I have no complaints. There is a brightness shift, but there is no color or color shift in my eyes, so I feel that it's not a problem at all. Also, obviously being a VA panel, it's best to view this particular monitor head on, because this is a single person use monitor as well, since it is curved. So I think overall it makes sense. So this monitor is rated at a brightness of around 400, also given that this is HDR 400 certified. The brightness is pretty good. It's a bit over 400 nits and it gets fairly dim as well, so working in the dark is not an issue for me personally. But the one complaint I have regarding this is actually the HDR performance. Now HDR 400 is not really enough. Also, given that this monitor has no local dimming and only edge lighting, it is very much obvious that the HDR performance isn't great. Now for watching content, I felt it was okay because if you watch HDR videos on YouTube, you can see that the colors are weird around the greens and the blues. I felt turning on HDR really fixed it, so for content watching it is great. But for gaming experience, if you're not really into the HDR gaming aesthetic, I feel it's good to go. I have played Destiny 2 personally on HDR. It was great, but it was nothing that stood out from the normal performance of this particular monitor. I have seen better HDR performance, so if HDR is a priority for you, I would definitely suggest go for at least an HDR 600 certified monitor. Now I do content creation and video editing as well. For me, it works out pretty good because I do not do any color critical work. I do not do any color grading on my particular videos or pictures or thumbnails. So for me, it's fine because this particular monitor has a DCI-P3 coverage of 90% now, but definitely down the line, I would like to have a monitor which is way more color accurate. Another very underrated thing about this monitor is that it comes with an anti-glare coating or a matte finish, and that is a really great thing to have in a monitor. Now coming to the conclusions, how is this? Now definitely this is a gaming centric monitor and mostly gamers should consider it. I wanted best of both worlds and this is the best I could find in this particular price range, that is from around 25 to 30,000. The link of this monitor will be mentioned down below. You can check it out over there. The prices do vary on Amazon, so that's something I cannot completely comment on. Now given a VA panel, I feel that the performance is really great. Content watching was an important thing for me. IPS panels do have better colors, but the contrast is very low on IPS panels, so I do prefer a VA panel. And for gaming also, VA panels are pretty good because of the color reproduction compared to TN panels. Now the response, so I feel that the VA panels are a good middle ground between IPS and TN panels when you want the best of both worlds. There are better IPS panels today in the market, but they do cost you a significantly higher price. So I feel that for this price, getting a 165Hz refresh rate is a great deal. HDR is something that you can probably experiment with, but I do not completely recommend it honestly. The pixel density is not great. Obviously a 1440p monitor is better, but if you take the same specs of any monitor and turn it into 1440p, it's a huge price jump for a little more pixel density. The ANC is completely a gimmick. I would not recommend anybody to use it, and also given the color accuracy, it's not top notch, so anybody planning to do color critical work should definitely consider that this is not a very color accurate screen. Another thing is that this is a curved monitor, so that is something of a personal preference. For me, all of these things are the best middle ground I got. This is obviously not my dream monitor. So anyway guys, that's been it for this particular video. Drop a comment, tell me about how you felt. If there is something I missed out on, the comment section is open for you guys to ask the questions or reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram. So with that, thank you for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.